Hello and welcome to episode 32 of the TF Cast.
Today with us we have musician Stacy K. Stacy, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been up to here recently.
Well, hello. I am a singer-songwriter for many years now. What have I been up to? Well, I've been just playing music. Despite also having a bunch of children and a hobby farm. No, for real though, I'm putting out a new single called Moving On. So that's kind of been the most recent happenings in my musical world.
When's that dropping for folks?
Well, the date is February 14th, I think, or 13th. What's the Friday? Ooh. That Friday is a music video. And then the following Friday would be either the 20th or the 21st, if my math is right. That would be when the song would be like on all the platforms. So, yeah.
Very neat.
Mm-hmm.
Hobby farm music. And you mentioned the video. Can you tee that up for people? Like, what is the video? I don't know, maybe give a little preview or... Sure.
Give a audio or like a visual audio preview.
Yeah.
The video is, I actually got the privilege, I would say, to work with Daniel Hiding on it. And if you don't know who Dan Hiding is, he's a videographer from Minneapolis that I would say works with the A team of musicians. So I felt a little lucky to work with him on it. So he caught some real cool shots of, the sunset and just it's more my shadow type of thing. And then we filmed it actually last year at this time. And I was wearing my grandmother's sheer dress that she wore, I think, for my mom's and dad's wedding. So now it's like this orange, like flowy, like, and it's basically see-through. And I kid you not, it was freezing, like 40, 50, the wind, and I'm like, what am I doing? But one of the cool shots that we did, it so happened to be the full moon. And so we waited and I had to run across the field to get in the right position of where the moon was coming up. And then like strike all these poses with the moon as the backdrop. And I'm like a silhouette. Anyway, it was really cold, but it was really cool. The visual.
How has working as a musician been over the last year or so? I mean, you said you filmed that video a whole year ago, and here we are now.
Yeah. Well, 2020 was just, lovely. Let's see. I didn't put out the song because of the pandemic, really. The hard drive actually was lost in Minneapolis for a while, and I actually just got it back. So that's why I'm putting it out now, and it just works that way. But yeah, 2020, let's see. I did a live show in January, and then I don't even know what I did. Then it was just like the world turned upside down, and a few gigs of mine where I sang for a couple funerals.
God.
Yeah. So, and then what else did I do? I don't know. Oh, I did, in the summer, I recorded with Colin Scharf for the River.
Oh yeah. We just talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
The Christmas album.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So that was like cool.
Yeah.
To be a part of that. And, yeah.
There's also, Long Road that came out 2020.
Oh yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Yes. I released Long Road. I was doing, a friend of mine had mentioned that September was recovery month, and I am in recovery myself. And I didn't know that September was recovery month. And actually my anniversary is in September too. So I found out, and I had this song called Long Road that kind of just was in my, I didn't release it. I didn't know when, I didn't know how or what the point, but the song itself is about recovery. And so I found out and like literally forced kind of my husband to record me on our hobby farm with the animals, and did the video myself and got it out in like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I was just inspired, after I had found out that September was recovery month. So it's like, well, I have a story and a song and a reason. And so then, I had you send it out to all the places of media, and it was pretty sweet. The Current made it Song of the Day, which I was like, oh, that's just cool, So it did well. Inspiration,
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, looking through your releases on Spotify, doing a little bit of research before this, you have been just doing a bunch of singles. Are you working up towards an album, or is it just the thing now to people?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So the reason I started doing singles was because I got pregnant. So I was like, I have these songs, but I'm not ready to tour, and all that kind of stuff. And then what happened? And then I actually put out an EP with a side project called Mr. Doctor. So when did I have a baby? Like 2017. EP with Mr. Doctor came out in 2017. Then, it's just like life. I think it's kind of the thing to do right now, but it just so happens that putting an album out and then going out on tour and all of that wasn't lining up with what was happening in my life, because I've been taking care of these small children. That being said, I had inspiration to write one more song and then take all those singles and then just put out an album that way. And I'm also considering just leaving it as is and then just writing a whole new album. So, yeah.
I haven't actually been exposed to any of the Mr. Doctor stuff except for the song you just played for us. Could you just, briefly describe what Mr. Doctor is? And
So Mr. Doctor is a duo with a very good friend of mine and musician. His name is Dave Mailing. I used to live in like this music house, I guess you want to call it, in Minneapolis. And so we lived together for maybe 3 years or something. And the name Mr. Doctor came about because the upstairs roommate was trying to name her cat. So we're like, Mr. Doctor. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna put that in my notes and save it. And then what happened? His guitar player and wife were having a baby, and then like someone was getting married or whatever. So his band was taking a bit of a break, and we had written all these songs together in the basement. So we decided to do something because nothing else was going on, basically. So that's how Mr. Doctor was born. Yeah. He's like a brother, we're just great friends. And
so Mr. Doctor exists as a duo then?
Yeah, it's more of a duo, and it's him and I, and then, we'll get like a drummer and bass player or something sometimes, or we'll just play the two of us.
It's 2 guitars.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. He plays guitar. He also plays piano. I don't think he played piano on all the songs on the EP, but when we play live, it's usually, 2 guitars and 2 voices.
Nice. So what got you started with music? Like, how'd you become a musician?
How does that happen?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I started playing guitar like when I was in 2nd grade. It's like this kid who, I don't know what I was, I just hung out in my room and played guitar alone. Listened to I was obsessed with all my mom's records. So I'd lay on the floor and then I'd start learning those songs by ear on guitar. And
what was she listening to?
well, it was from her high school days, right? So one of the albums that I became real obsessed with was a band called Bread. Ever heard that band?
I have heard of Bread.
Okay.
I've inherited a few record collections, so
Yeah.
I'm sure I've heard it, but I couldn't, not off the top of my head.
So Bread, Steve Miller Band, Fleetwood Mac, then she was into her pop stuff. So there was like Donna Summer, learning how to disco alone in my room. Like way beyond like the years when disco was cool. Yeah. So that's kind of, I just started playing music that way. And like on a mental where you use things to get through stuff. My parents were divorced when I was young, so like music helped me kind of cope with things of that nature and yeah. And then it just kind of progressed from there, when I was 18, I was hired by the Johnny Home Band, so I graduated from high school and said, "See you guys." And did that for a good 4 years and then
just mostly on the road during that time.
Yeah, that's a busy machine. So for sure, summers you're out sometimes a couple weeks at a time, and then every weekend or Wednesday through Saturday type of thing. Yeah.
Reverse weekend.
Yeah. The nightlife. So yeah, and then moved to Minneapolis after that and during that and started writing and playing out my original stuff, and here I am.
Yeah, back
in fast forward.
So you mentioned something about whether, I guess what you were getting at maybe was that music is a little bit therapeutic for you.
Oh, yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, therapeutic, and just, it's in a sense, I mean, all the songs are what's the word? Autobiographical. Am I saying that right? Autobiographical?
I think so. I think you got it.
But, you might switch a few things just maybe simply because it rhymes, or it's like you don't want to pull the curtain totally.
Yeah. How do you go about writing like that? Do you start with a sentiment, or what's your writing process?
Some songs are written over a long period of time. Some just like wash over like a weird, like, oh, I have to like write this down right now. I like those because it's then like done. It's weird how it happens, but it's kind of magical maybe. And I know that a lot of songwriters experience that too, where it's like this one just came out and then this one has taken forever. Lately, I've used the recording in my iPhone just to like sing out phrases, or I'll get ideas like I want to write a song about this subject and I'll put it in my notes just as a reminder of little ideas. Just because I'm busier with children now. So
you just start with the voice or the guitar?
Both, either or. Yeah, it's never the same, really. Sometimes piano.
Yeah. What do you all play anyways? You're multi-instrumentalist?
I'm most comfortable, I would say voice is first instrument, second guitar, piano. I secretly only just want to be a bass player, but I'm not, but I can play like simple bass, ukulele, and what else is there? I own a banjo, but I still have to learn how to play it.
How is that different from the guitar? I mean, I know it's much different, but like it's not something you can just like kind of like pick up as a guitar player.
It's tuned differently. So like I think the motion is different. And I think there's a different way that you pick.
Yeah, the thumb pick, I think.
Yeah, like I'd have to research. I have to like dive in a little bit more.
On the banjo.
Although there's some people have banjos, I think, that are tuned like a guitar ?
I mean, you could probably tune it however you want, but it's just not the traditional tuning too.
Right. I'd want to like be traditional. Otherwise I feel like I'm fake or something. I don't know.
You mentioned we were talking about music being therapeutic, and I feel like I could really sense that in some of your videos actually. Additionally, that there was a strong element of nature in them.
Oh.
Do you connect with nature and connect that to your music, or is that more of just like how you like to make the videos?
I would say it's the first, that part that you said, guys have conversations with the moon ever?
Not frequently.
No. You got it.
It's been a bit.
Nature in that way where it's, I mean, I'm not like a full on tree hugger, but I am definitely, I feel like we're all connected in that regard. But yeah, sunset, did I say that I was, after I got out of recovery, so I can't remember if I said that I was in it during this podcast or maybe before we started talking. It was something to finally take witness to like sunrises and sunsets. And like then I wanted to start a side project of just t-shirts with sunsets on them because they were all like unique and amazing. Mm-hmm. But when you're living in a bit of a cloud, you don't notice that. So
yeah, what made you feel drawn particularly to the sunrise and sunset?
Being aware, I think, again, the awareness of, and it's always different. It's never the same, even though
it's like
you usually you don't, you just, let's say you're driving home and every day you drive home and the sun is setting or something. Mm-hmm. And then that gets really monotonous and you don't take notice. Well, then it's like I woke up again and I started noticing how different they always are. And I always thought if I was a painter, wouldn't it be cool if I could like emulate like how this looks? I'm not a painter.
Yeah. And that, I mean, there has to be some, like you've gotten to the hobby farm thing you were saying, there has to be a strong connection there. Like what is the day like when you decide that you want to have a hobby farm and you start pursuing that?
Right. Oh man. This adventure started because our daughter Hazel, who's 12, wanted chickens. So it started with chickens last March. You can get chickens from Tractor Supply or Runnings. So And the chickens led to cats, which I joined 5 Facebook cat groups to find the cats that I felt I wanted. So that was pretty interesting. And then after cats came goats.
Naturally.
Right.
Yeah. Is it like a Three Sisters garden kind of thing where like they all help each other somehow?
The animals?
Yeah, I mean like what I think goats are really cool animals, but I don't actually know what they do except for eat grass. Like
it's pretty much all they do.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, okay, so growing up, my dad was a dairy farmer and I had to milk cows. Mm-hmm. And so when we had the option of what kind of goats to get, I said, I am done milking cows or goats or And then, of course, at the time when it was happening, I was still nursing my daughter, who was like, wasn't even 1 yet. So I'm like, don't even want to.
No milk.
Nope,
No
we're
milk.
fine. I don't need to do this. I already to schedule myself. I don't want to have to go milk the goat. But there's some people who do the hobby farm thing, and like this woman I met, and she's milking the goats and she's making soap and like the whole thing, and it sounds cool, but there's no way.
Mm-hmm. Is that kind of is it like a long-term sustainability thing where you're trying to get off the grid, or?
Somewhat. I mean, in a way, we're just like this messy thing happening that we have an idea. We kind of know where we're going with it, and yet things are just naturally kind of revealing themselves to what actually is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So the goats, we have Angora goats, and they look like sheep.
Oh.
So most people would think we have sheep, but you can shear them and then sell their wool, for whatever people do with that. Still need to research that avenue a little bit. And then we were going to buy our livestock dog, which is a Great Pyrenees, and we came back with 2 baby Nigerian dwarf goats and a puppy that day. So we got 2 of those boys. Yeah. And then I was doing a live show in May of last year, and they left to go get some more goats, but instead came back with 2 donkeys. So we also have that.
What? I actually don't know what a donkey does.
A donkey is a guardian for livestock.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Security donkey.
Yep.
That's awesome. It's way better than I thought a donkey was.
Well, I think you can. They're naturally a desert animal, I believe, and then so they used them to get from point A to B at one point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pack animals.
Yeah, but now they're just like big old dogs.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never met or interacted with a donkey.
You can come out whenever you want.
Is it they follow you around?
Yeah.
Huh.
Follow you. Again, Hazel, she is obsessed. She takes horse lessons. So she's been training the donkeys when she's with us at our house.
Mm-hmm.
So you can ride them.
Oh.
And yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. They're funny. They're funny when they, yell to be fed, or if they're hungry, or the sound of a donkey echoing.
Yeah, they bray, kind of. I don't know.
I'm not going to make the sound the donkey makes.
Darn it.
Yeah, but it's pretty funny. Yeah.
Is the hobby farm space an inspiring space for a musician to reside?
Yeah, it's work, and it's also, I guess it's just like the caring for something that is alive, I don't know. We get fresh eggs every day. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the chickens. I don't know. I suppose it is. I haven't reflected on that a whole lot.
Well, in your history of music and living places, has it been? Are you new to the hobby farm sort of thing? Or you mentioned you grew up on a farm.
Yeah, I grew up halfway on a farm. My dad was out on a farm, and I lived also in town with my mom.
Okay.
So I did a little bit of both. So with my dad, I was farmer. My mom was a videographer, so with her, I did a lot of video editing and stuff like that, VHS style.
Oh.
Yeah, turn the dial. And she had a company called Memory Makers Video that I helped as a kid. I was the B, shots of things.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So a little bit of both. But yeah, living on the hobby farm now, it feels like home. I used to live in Minneapolis, and so you're inspired by those surroundings too. It's just kind of wherever you go, there you are type of thing.
Mm-hmm. You're just a person who writes where they're at.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I honestly just started writing a song yesterday, and the first line says, "Sometimes I go out to the barn just so I can smoke."
Yeah, it sounds true.
It is.
Very honest.
Yeah.
But because a lot of times those are like places where people do. You've described a couple living situations that I think people kind of think of as like being these high creative energy, but like kind of like the musician's house is more on the chaotic end than the farm. And I wonder if that's true. Like, which one of those spaces seemed more chaotic to you?
Then what? The
Comparing the house of musicians or
to the house of literal animals.
Oh my God. Chaotic in their own special way, right?
Yeah.
It's like when I lived in the house with a bunch of musicians, we were like, we all lived together so we could pay rent and then also kind of have a life,
Yeah.
And so it was just a bunch of people in the house, and it was a good time. Chaotic in that way of you're in your 20s and doing whatever you want to do, This with the other way is like, yeah, I mean, I can't tell you because I have a kid in diapers. We have I'm shoveling SHIT outside. We have a dog that just had puppies, so she's in another room. Well, she goes number 2 in that room. So it's chaotic in a sense, like I am cleaning up shit on the daily, like, so that's a chaotic sense.
Yeah. Out of the milk phase into the poop phase.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. I am like, I don't even wear gloves anymore. I don't even care. Just wipe it up, get it over with, throw it in the trash outside. Throw in the trash outside.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Probably had a little bit less of that at the music house. Yeah.
No.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
no?
we were throwing more like beer cans and stuff like that in the trash.
Different kind of waste.
Yeah. Thank God. Oh my God. Like, I'm out of here. What's wrong with you guys? Although, if I would share this, he might hate me for it. My old bass player used to live with us. And then he moved out in with his girlfriend. And then he worked in Uptown. That's where we lived at the time. And we only had one bathroom on our floor. And he would come over during his noon break and just literally go to the bathroom at my place because he used to live there and then leave. I was like,
well, some people have a thing about that. They don't want to go to the bathroom at work.
I guess not. But he's like, what? I used to live here.
Yeah, coming directly into someone's home just to go and leave, that does seem a little bit.
I guess
there's some friction there.
It was always welcome. He's always welcome to use the bathroom. Whatever.
Interesting. Well, let's bring it back to some music stuff, maybe.
Oh yeah. That.
So the songs you played for us today, there were 3 of them. Oh wait, I don't have them up here anymore. One of them was moving on, which is the. Oh, hello.
Am I there?
Check.
I'm here.
We had. I felt like it cut out for a second. Did it cut out for you too?
No, I don't think so.
That's good.
Okay. Maybe everything's okay. No problems. So there's Moving On, and there were 2 other songs. Can you tell us a little bit about just the songs that you played and why you chose those ones?
Sure. So, Moving On is, like I said before, a song that I'm having a video and releasing now-ish. The song, like, you want to know what it's like about, or
Just, you've got quite a range of songs to choose from, and I'm curious why you picked those ones.
Oh, sure. Well, I picked that one just because I'm releasing it. That's all. It's nice to play it, to get used to playing it, maybe too. I picked Wildflowers, honestly, because I like to play that one on guitar. It's just more than a 3-chord song, so it's just a little bit more fun to play. And then I picked Heartbreaks, Heart Attacks. I think melodically that one is kind of interesting. So, choose the chord voicings and such. I kind of dig on that tune. And then I tried to pick 3 songs that were a little more versatile, so it wasn't just kind of a drag the whole time or super chirpy the whole time. Or so yeah, Moving On is about it is about an old friend / lover of mine, and we had been broken up for actually a while, and I had heard that he was moving back to his home state. And so this was one of those songs that does just kind of like, I was doing my dishes and just the whole song came over, so I just wrote it in that regard. Wildflowers, my now husband likes to think that it's about him. Truth be told, I wrote it before I met him, but at the time I was it's my joke to say I was sober, celibate, and single, which is true. I really was for like a good year, just like, but I wrote this song, Wildflowers, about like, just more of like putting out there, like, this is the type of person I would like spend my time with, and then he arrived.
Law of attraction or something there.
Yeah, I believe in that.
Will something into being. Put out the energy you want to receive.
Absolutely. That's a real thing, I think.
Well, that's about as good as you can hope for a song that's not about you, if at least applies,
Yeah. Well, now I'm like, it's about you, honey.
Yeah.
It is. And then the Heartbreaks, Heart Attacks is a song. I guess it's kind of about a love relationship that's like either really high or really low. There's no in between. So, I don't really know. The video that I always wanted to make, because I've been pregnant for the last twice now in the last 3 years. I was like, we gotta make the video of me pregnant, like smoking outside of, some rundown place, and like creating this like horrible imagery of, I just think it would vibe with that song well. It's that bad.
No, it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't get pregnant again just for the music video.
No, and it would be a fake cigarette,
That would have some imagery.
No, but
coming soon, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get pregnant again. It's not my plan. But I would like to make some videos.
Back to videos. There was one that I watched in my diving through some of your material that I found. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it was a while back. I think you were pregnant in that video, actually.
Good chance.
There was a lot of really neat layers to it.
Oh, was I in like a white dress sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dave Mailing from Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor.
I asked him to do that video. So he came down because he also does video work. And I just let him roll with it. So that was his creation. He did the shooting and the editing on that song.
Okay. Wow. I was just very much enjoyed it. So
yeah. He came down. The night before, we got up super early
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we both kind of talked about like what I was seeing, but yeah, that was all him.
Oh.
Yeah, he wanted it to be like this inward. That song is called that one's called Cheap Thrills.
Mm.
Yeah. Right?
I didn't watch any of the videos.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's Cheap Thrills.
Okay.
And yep, it's like I think my spirit self, so to speak, is connecting with the human self and the guidance that, listening to your inner whatever. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure it does, but
sure. Well, I think that's what the video is trying to show.
Yeah. It felt like there was maybe an element of conflict almost, but also that it was presented in sort of a psychedelic way. I just really was attached to the way that there was a lot of colors that I was maybe not expecting, and some natures and layers, and very well done too.
Cool. Well, let him know
Mr.
that.
Doctor.
Yeah.
So
Dave.
cool.
I got one more on the music front. I noticed when I was listening through all this stuff, I listened to all the singles you had, and then you had an album, 2013 Glass House's album name. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, that was my first one that I put out.
I mean, there's a difference in the recordings and all that stuff. How do you see yourself? Like, how has your style changed over the course of your released work, in your own words? Or like, what are you gravitating towards?
Sure. I would say in the beginning, it started out just in the category of like acoustic singer-songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
What is that called? Where it's just like you're not country, you're not this, you're not that, you're just like easy listening acoustic or something.
I think maybe people just call it like singer-songwriter.
Yeah. Folk, maybe, yeah. Then moving forward, it kind of got into still like that singer-songwriter, but I started getting into how sounds can create more like flourish in this way of like creating imagery for the listener, maybe. Somewhat psychedelic, but not like full in.
Not like fuzzed out or anything.
Yeah. Then now where I'm kind of heading, then it kind of got real in the most recent stuff. It got a little bit more kind of poppy, almost.
I will say when I turned on Long Road, it was not. I had expected like a singer-songwriter thing, and it came in with this kind of like drum bit, and it was like really full, and I was like, oh, that's not what I expected at all, which was cool because I like the song, but
thanks.
It was just like, it was interesting. I made a little playlist.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'm. With that, it's I don't even know what category of music it really is in now. Like the stuff that I write, I would say it's somewhat pop, somewhat what would you say?
Honestly, the intro to that, it reminded me of a Flaming Lips song, and I couldn't tell you which one. It kind of comes in with that like and that's immediately what it reminded me of. Some of the stuff probably that they were releasing in the early aughts, but yeah, I think that's just kind of like psychedelic pop type rock stuff.
I dig music in that vein, like Flaming Lips, or I went through a phase of listening to oh shoot, now I'm not, I can see his face, but I'm not remembering his name right now. And maybe it'll come back to me. Recently, I've been listening to like Nikki Lane, or Willie Nelson's son, which his name is, oh my God, I have like a crush on him and I can't remember his name right now.
I'm sure it happens a lot to Willie Nelson's son.
Right? He's just known as Willie Nelson's son. Oh, anyway, I saw him. This is bad. I'm just gonna call it mom brain. Just like total lack of sleep. So him, I've been listening to kind of more like country stuff. I really like Eric Koskinen a lot. I would love to actually record with him. It's been on my so Eric, if you're watching this.
His name comes up around here quite a bit.
Does it?
Yeah, people always mention Eric Koskinen. I mean, Adam Steinke, Josh Graflin, they both talked about him, but I think they both work with him, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll see. Throw that out in the universe. But yeah, so honestly, I've been wanting for my next batch of songs, I've been kind of wanting to veer a little bit more in a country-ish vein, mainly, and a little bit back from what has been coming out, which has a lot of kind of sample kind of styled of how it's recorded with a MIDI controller, in that regard. I'm wanting to get back to more of a rootsy approach, because it's just where I'm at, and also because it's easier to replicate that kind of stuff live, solo or even with the band,
Yeah, the more MIDI stuff you bring in, there's always just a million live questions.
There's also a million options when you're recording that way too. What about this sound? This sound, this sound, this sound. What's kind of organ?
Yeah, there's something there's something I find really comforting about having a set of parameters or a box that has limitations, and we're very different in that way. But
I mean, it's cool. And then, so I don't know. It's I've always think my sound forever is the nucleus is I'm a songwriter. And then I think maybe the only avenue that I perhaps won't travel down, I don't foresee myself doing heavy metal. I don't really see myself as a rapper because it would just be stop.
You'd have to get a different shirt probably.
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? Right. I'm still thinking about Willie Nelson's son.
Oh.
You guys don't listen to him?
I don't even know how to search for him. I mean, I could probably just search Willie Nelson's son.
And I know that it's spelt it's how I remember it is how is it spelled? Lucas Nelson. Thank you.
Lucas.
I was just
Shout
about
out
to
to
look it up.
I just started thinking that's a phrase, I am your father. Lucas Nelson. Lucas Nelson, Willie Nelson is your father.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm funny.
Now we know. I feel like there's a bunch of musicians who are children of extremely famous people, and either I didn't know or they're named the second or third. You got Hank Williams all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going with them, and Ziggy Marley.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Bob Marley's kid's name?
I think, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I could name a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's a relation there, pretty sure. But,
Well, why don't we wrap it up there? I think that we can direct people to your upcoming song, Moving On.
Yeah.
And its release in video form and audio coming soon, as well as our live version that we were able to capture with you. So thank you for joining us and playing us some of those tunes there.
Yeah, I had a blast. Thanks for having me.
Plugs?
Plugs?
Where do
any
people find you online?
shoutouts?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm on the Facebook. I am on Instagram. Both are Stacy the K, so Stacy the K, just the letter. That's how you find me there. I am on Twitter, but I don't really do anything on it. My website, is this where I do this? Website too?
Sure.
www.stacythek.com. SoundCloud, yes. And Bandcamp is where if you purchase off of Bandcamp, it actually just goes to me, which is cool. Follow me on Spotify. And also, if you want to follow Mr. Doctor on Spotify, I suggest to look up Summer in the Backseat, and you'll find us that way because it seems to be a struggle when you just put in Mr. Doctor.
Okay.
Where else in the world?
YouTube is where I found a lot of cool videos.
YouTube, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reminder. But yeah, I usually try to do a video for each single I put out. So there should be starting to get a little bit of a list going on now.
Yeah. Well, I was thoroughly impressed by all the videos I watched. So
cool.
It's a great way to discover you, maybe.
Thanks. And a majority of them, I've put my old editing skills back to work. So
nice.
I do a lot of the editing on my own stuff, which is...
You still got the VHS lab?
I actually would love to bring that back in.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Yeah. It's like a double deck situation, the VHS on the shoulder kind of way. And then you had a different tape for your intro options of like how you wanted, your intro to look like, and then a dial to put in the typing or the text.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom still has it. I don't know if she'll let me have it yet, but soon enough.
It's a waiting game.
Yep. But yeah, so thanks again for having me here to talk about my hobby farm and music and children and
all that.
Well, thank you for joining us. We enjoyed hearing it.
Thanks for coming on.
Cool.